Alright, hello everyone. Today we'll be working on a 2024 Honda Ridgeline RTL version. We will be doing the full drivetrain service. At this point, I am voicing over the video just because the audio here is a little too quiet, so I figure I'd kind of talk over it to give a little bit of explanation of what's happening here. Basically, at this point, we have the hood open and we have the engine cover off, and we're looking down at the ZF transmission. This is the 8mm hex that you're going to need to crack open the drain and fill bolts. There is a third check bolt, but I will not be using that method to refill the transmission in this video. I won't be checking it. I'll be taking out the fluid that's in there, and I will be weighing out how much came out. That's how much I'll be putting back in. So here I have my ratchet with an extension, with 3 extensions, and I'm putting it down in there to crack the fill bolt loose. Here, taking it, removing it, and then I will be spinning out the rest by hand. And then I'll be talking about how a lot of people online will tell you to reuse the O-ring seals that are on these fill and drain bolts, or replace them entirely. Realistically, you can actually just replace the seal. You do not have to replace the entire drain and fill bolt. And if you don't want to risk leaks, you don't have to reuse it. A lot of people online say they rarely ever leak even after using them, but I would recommend just replacing the seal, and I will showing you here how to replace the seal. Alright, so yes, despite what people say about having to purchase a new one, it is not necessary, as you can purchase these from either Global O-ring Supply, right? I will show you the size. Hold on. Sorry, that one had my address. Here we go. I got this one from O-Rings and More. Bought a kit of 25. This is the size, 15.1 by 20.9 by 1.5 millimeter. D-ring FKM. FKM is the material, DIN, and then the profile is 3869. So with a pair of seal pick removers, you can go ahead and remove this guy. Just poke him right out, hold it down, and you'll just right out. And this goes for all 3. If you want to replace all 3, I will be, according to the forums, there was a method where somebody just weighed out the amount of transmission fluid that came out of the ZF9 and just put that much back in. And I think I will be doing the same. I believe the manual calls for 3.7 quarts, but I think I'll just do it by weight. So there's it with no O-ring. And then we're going to go ahead and grab one of these. So the other supplier was, let me show you the name. It's because it did have my address on it, I think. It did not have my address, but here's the other brand from, this is Global O-ring Supply. Global O-ring and Seal. GlobalOring.com. Yep, so I bought 8 from them. I had bought from different ones because I wasn't sure what the size was until I did see it on the Honda Ridgeline forums. And, yep. So let me see if I can focus here. Is it anyway? I don't think so, but they do read that this text on the inside is the exact same. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna do this for all 3 as well. Even if I don't show it on video, all 3, actually, it's the same way, flat side down. I do believe flat side down because the text was facing upwards. Okay. And then just fits right in. There we go. Yep, right in. Perfect. And then you don't have to spend $30 at the district to buy a new one. Each of these was about 45 cents. And there's the old one and the new. Fits right in. Here now we're beneath the car. We'll be removing the drain bolt with the 8mm bit. So my method here is basically, after cracking it loose, is going to be unscrewing unscrewing the bolt by hand while putting reverse pressure. So I'll be pressing back in on the bolt as I unscrew it. And then kind of from there, just try to be careful with it. You will see here in the video that I ended up kind of mistaking. I had thought I had unscrewed it all the way while pressing back in, but I hadn't, so I had to go back in and unscrew it a little bit further. But I am doing my best here to try and unscrew it. It's very limited space. The car isn't lifted, the truck is not lifted that far off the ground here, so it was very difficult to get the camera here and kind of put my hand, like I'm kind of looking at what I'm doing through the phone. But yeah, and I was kind of pleased to see at about 29,600 miles that the fluid was still pretty clear. Like obviously when we see it later, when I measure it out, it's going to be quite dark, but it, like as it comes out, you guys are going to see here, it's super clear. I'm not seeing like anything that worries me, no contaminants. When I do see the part where we weigh out how much came out, you will see that there's a few little things, but nothing shiny and nothing too concerning here. So I was very pleased to see that. I probably will speed up the rest of the video here because I kind of just clean up the area and then screw back down. I do torque down the bolts to about 35 Newton meters, and I do use my Tonichi torque wrench to do that, but I'll just kind of let the rest of the video play here, and then you can kind of see what happens. Okay, now that most of the fluid has drained out, I'm going to go ahead and clean the brake a little bit differently. Fluid seems to splash all over the place, so I'll go ahead and just clean this up just a little bit. Right. It seems like I'm just straight down the towel. Go from there. That's good. No. I'm just going to put it down. Okay. And now I'll be torquing down to 35 Newton meters. This is my Tonichi torque wrench, the QL50. Okay. Sweet. Well, wasn't too much. I did increase it to 37 inches, that's safer for my 40, which is about 3 pounds. And stuff like this. Yeah, that's it. And it will be the same for the full bolt as well. Let's see. If nothing, I can see. So that's what I think everything's good. I do replace the O-ring, and I don't see anything. No screen to the oil there, but nothing now. Alright, for this next part, we are going to be measuring how much actually came through. I'm putting this back. 0 grams. I will be seeing how much fluid we got out. The fluid is still super clear, it's just very dark. I don't see any metal shading. Actually, I do see a few here at the bottom of the bucket. There are just a couple floating down there, nothing big and nothing shiny, so nothing really that concerns me or that worries me at 30,000 miles. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so we got about 3,050 grams of fluid. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. 3,050. So that's how much we'll be putting back in. I'm going to go ahead and put this into our used old container here. Oops. How much was it? A little bit. Oops. I don't want to stay in the top, of course. Looks good. I'll wipe it down real quick. So for fluid here, we do have Honda ATF 3.1. There are two different versions of it. They are both made by Shell. So this is made by Shell in the United States. This is made by Shell in Germany. You can see here, made in Germany. And this one is now made in the United States, but they're both made by Shell. This does have the appearance of a Shell quart bottle. But yeah, let's get to pouring. So we want 3,050 grams. I will say that one made in Germany does smell worse. Alright, so that's just below 4 quarts, but I think it should be fine. I know the owner's manual says 3.7, I believe, but this is just slightly if looking to factory, I think you should be perfectly fine. In case, I don't know, if you guys know any better, if you want to text, want to write something down in the comment section, I'm open to hearing it. You know, I'll drain a little bit if I have to, but I think for now it's perfectly fine. Okay, now we'll be refilling, and I do have right here straight into the drain bolt. I will show you there. Oh. And now we're just going to go ahead and fill this uppy up. Probably just going to curve this way. Seems to hold itself still, so that's very nice. I just curve it a little bit in position. Okay, now we'll be torquing this back down. I'm gonna have to start this in by hand. Oh, man. Okay, that is in. To the right. Here we go. Okay, right there it's snug. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and take it down. Go ahead and remove this guy. And again, grabbing my Tonichi here, set to, once again, 37 foot-pounds. So, I know having an extension kind of messes up torque, but it should be okay. Alright. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need both hands here. Okay, this should be a little bit better. Here we go with our extensions going down in. Gonna go ahead and already there. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay, now that we have just finished up here, I see no leaks here. nothing leaking. I guess I'll inspect it again when I turn my car. But there are also no leaks. Check underneath. We have no leaks. All good. The next step will be changing the oil. Alright, at this point we moved on to changing the oil. I'm currently underneath the car, and I had already cracked the engine drain bolt. Here I'm just talking about how hard it was torqued on. I think it was torqued beyond torque spec. I think it has been in the dealership only a month ago, mainly just for service, but since I was doing the full drivetrain, I thought might as well change it now. You know, it hurts to change it too late, doesn't hurt to change it early, so I said why not. It was just there, and anyway, it's basically only been 2,000 miles since I last changed it, but you know, I thought it was whatever. Yeah, and I did buy a replacement drain bolt and a new, I believe it's a 17mm washer, and it's a 14mm washer, but the drain bolt is 17mm. And here I'm just talking about how red the oil seems. But anyway, I will be replacing the drain bolt just because I, in the video, talked about how rounded off it seemed. I think they were not torquing it down to spec at the dealership. I just think it's crazy that it was just rounding off. I do show the bolt later on, and it doesn't appear that rounded off. But anyway, I just thought, you know, for my own peace of mind, I will be replacing it. I do also replace all washers. I'm not the kind of person who will reuse a washer even if it looks good. They're really inexpensive, and it's just why not, you know, just buy them in bulk. You can buy them in bulk in OEM, or you can just buy them on Amazon, you know, whatever is more convenient for you, just do that. I would highly recommend just replacing the washers anyway. But yeah, I'll just let the rest of the video play out, so and move on to the replacing the oil filter next. I'm so sorry, I was not able to record. I had to fight to get this thing off. I think, you know, the dealership that I took it to, that was here in the AV, I think just absolutely torqued it down like crazy with an impact or something. There was just no way I was getting it off. Or maybe I just couldn't get enough leverage here. You know, there's not that much space between here and the floor, you know, maybe 8-10 inches or something, a little bit less than a foot. And yeah, it was just getting really hard. I needed to concentrate, get it off, but I was able to get it off. I was able to drain the oil, and I did replace the drain plug. I do have the old one here, and the reason I replaced that was just because I was starting to get worried that the edges were getting very rounded off, so I figured it would be a good time. I do like that this time that after the dealership, they did use the correct washer. Last time I took it and the washer was on, they're super tight. It was like a weird thickness, but you know, it's alright. I'll just keep this one as a spare. You know, now that I look at it, it doesn't actually look like they're getting rounded off. They look fine, but I was just getting scared. Anyway, yeah, we did put a new one on there just to be safe. Alright, so the next step here is going to be removing the oil filter. Now, people have a bunch of different methods. Some people use tinfoil, some people use plastic. I did end up buying the snap-on oil deflector. There's the part number, the purple one. It does, I think it is worth the investment. I think it's about $54. But I think it's worth it. It just makes oil changes so much easier because I'm able to slide this right up under, and it's gonna catch. It's gonna have a little magnet underneath, so it's gonna go ahead and catch and drain all the oil into the pan below. And then to remove it, you can use some special oil filter clips, but I have this tool from Checkered Sports. I think it's quite nice, and I think it helps. Plus, it's supporting a small business compared to, you know, buying one of these off Amazon. But you go ahead and slide it right underneath, and then just turn, and then loosen, and turn, and then turn, and then I should be able to take it out. Looking at this filter, I wonder if they even replaced the one I put on there. There it is. there it drains, and then boom, right into the pan. No mess, no nothing. No tinfoil, no plastic, you know, very easy. But I'm just gonna keep taking it off, twisting this guy. And then I also don't get any of the subframe dirty with any oil. And then to replace that old filter, we will be using one from Hamp Synergy. So this is made by Mahle Tennex in Japan. It's about the same one as the Honda OEM one, but you know, you can get them for cheaper on eBay, getting them shipped from Japan. And I just think, you know, the quality just seems a lot nicer than the Fram ones that you get at the dealership. Okay, and the next thing will be refilling the oil. I'm going to go in with the first full 5 quarts. So it does take about 5.6 quarts. I have noticed that with Hondas, the dipstick may read very low. So usually what I like to do is just set the car overnight or take it for a drive. But I'll put exactly 5.7 as the manual says, and then go from there depending on the dipstick. I know some people add a little extra, and there is no harm in just going the full 6 quarts. So you can do that if you want to. Really the only danger comes from aerating oil, which is like if you add maybe 2 or 3 quarts more than what the manual states. But if you just go to 6, I think you're perfectly fine. You know, going from 5.7 to 6 isn't that big of a difference. Let that drain, and we are using 0W2. Today I'm using Castrol Edge EP just because they didn't have any Pendo Ultra Platinum at the store. So this is what I have to do for now. Even though they do advertise 25,000 mile order changes, I would not wait 25,000 miles. Definitely want to get this changed, you know, every 5K if you can. Today I'm doing it a little early just because I'm doing that service for the whole car. So I figured why not? Doesn't hurt to change it early, but it does hurt to change it late. So looks like that's about everything. And there we go. I will be measuring. So let me take a look here. Where are we at? So 5.7. 5.7 should keep us at about a fourth of a quart left. Okay. I'm actually, it'll be slightly more than half, so. That puts us as half, so I want to go more. Still half, so it's a little more. I'll just go towards as a fourth of the cup left. I think that's good. That's where we'll be leaving it at. That's together. And then go and check the dipstick from there. So what we get from the dipstick here. Let me set this up. Sorry. Okay. Go ahead and wipe this. Go ahead and put it back in here. Gonna give it a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what the reading is. Looks to cover just about the full hatch mark. Looks like it's right up to the line, honestly. I think it's perfectly fine. I'm gonna just double check it. But that should be it for now. And let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so we are below the car once again. And this is the transfer case. So it's this one here. Here's my, let me move my little bucket out the way. So it's this one here. And this is the transfer case fill bolt. So this is where you'll be filling it up from. You will see here is the engine. Let me put the camera closer to the ground. This is the engine oil, and then right over here is the transmission, which we just did, and I did put a little marker here after I torqued it down. This is, so this actually just takes a normal 3/8 inlet right off a 3/8 wrench. Thing is though, there's some talk on the forums about these being very square, so I did buy a square adapter, so 3/8 to 3/8 square. It's basically 3/8, but it just has it's more, the edges are just a lot sharper, and there's no risk of rounding these off. So I did already crack it loose. It was quite tight. People online do say that these can be torqued down quite a bit, but otherwise it's not too bad. I'm gonna loosen this guy up. Oh man. And then we'll be using the exact same method as before. So let me get the bucket in order here. So I'm gonna go, I'm putting pressure back on to the drain bolt here while I remove it, and making sure that it's right, making sure my bucket's right here. It's gonna fall right in, making sure. Okay. And then, so I'm putting pressure back on it as I unscrew it. And I think it's about loose, so I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly, boom. And it is very clean. That's like very see-through, almost glass-like. Holds under a quart, so that's how much we will be putting back in. Oh, was that the O-ring? Oh no, that was a crush washer. I'll have to pick that up in a second. But otherwise, yeah, give me a second and we'll come back to filling it from here as well. I just have to crack it loose, and then I'll come back and show you all. Okay, we are back. And we're gonna go ahead and twist this in. I took a little break just so I could go around the whole vehicle and make sure that the entire car was level. I did see that people online recommend the car being on a level surface for when you fill the transfer case. And okay, so first things first, gonna go ahead and clean up the area and spray just a little bit. Okay, and then wiping it off here. Wipe all of this off after cleaning. Okay. Go ahead and start the thread by hand. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna grab this guy, and then want to put it to the right. Oops. Let me fix that. Oh, doesn't fit. Oops. Come on. And then grab this guy. And here we go. Oh, of course it's the wrong way. Here we go. Okay. And then with our torque wrench, I set it to 45 Newton meters. I think that's 35 foot-pounds or so. Around that much. Okay, I need a little extension. And torquing it down. Alright. Oh, and the crush washer was a 20 millimeter crush washer. That's the one that we took out, so that's the one we replaced. Oops. And then just double checking that. Yep, okay, 45 foot-pounds. And then now, in order to fill, we did loosen him up. We do have one of these pump assemblies right here. So I know a lot of people don't like this method just because it takes very long, but it's what we're working with. And then for the fluid here, we have Hypoid, Honda Genuine Hypoid Cure Oil, SAE, or you could use standard 75-85 oil. If you can find it, I think some of the brands that offer it are Amsoil. Who else offers it? I'm gonna move the bucketing for the drippings. Who else offers this? I think Valvoline offers it. There's quite a few companies that offer it. So yeah, you don't have to go with Honda Genuine, of course, but I would, you know, always recommend OEM whenever possible. Oh, there we go. Okay, crack the bottle open. So I think if I remember correctly, it's about 0.85 quarts, but you know, the way most people measure it is just by pumping in fluid. So that's what we're gonna do here. Okay, you can see the fluid moving. And so I might put a time lapse here just because this might take a while. I know people online are like, oh, you're pumping here for 100 pumps or something, but you know, we'll see. Oops. starting to see a little bit of a drip. This is exactly what you want to see when it's about full. And then how much do we have left in the bottle here? Does it say? Huh, that seems to be barely anything. Well, I guess we'll wait till we see like a steady stream, so I'm gonna keep filling. Alright, well, we're at a little over half the quarts. It does feel like it's a little low, so I'm gonna go ahead and double check what the manual says, and then I will be right back. Okay, so it was in fact 0.5 quarts, so I think we're okay where we're at. So gonna go ahead and stop filling here, or maybe just one more pump to be safe, just in case. Doesn't hurt. Well, maybe it would hurt to refill it, right? So maybe not. Okay. Remove this guy. So that wasn't too bad. Didn't even take that many pumps, honestly. I wouldn't mind doing that again. But I don't know. Up to you. Depends on what you think it would be more convenient, you know, for your workflow. But this ain't too bad. Okay, back at it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up. And then put the bolt back in. So first thing is I'm going to start the bolt by hand just so we don't get any more dripping. I did clean the bolt and replace the washer here. So a 20 milliliter washer as well. So 220 mils. Oh, what's going on here? Why can I not get this guy back in here? There we go. Okay, yeah. Okay. And then before I turn it down, let me just go ahead and clean the area. Wow, that gear oil stuff really stinks. So, oh, looks like I'm all brake clean now. Yeah. Well, it's alright. Let's just clean what we can. Get really in those nooks. There's a little behind this bolt here. There seems to be a little area, so I want to make sure there's nothing dirty, no dripping. And 2, 3. It looks like it's good there. And then again, so same torque spec as before. Oops, crap, here we go. Torquing this guy down to 45 Newton meters. Okay, I might need to hug both my hands here. Okay, make sure it's really in there, and then, oh, felt it crush there. And I get a little bit of grip. Whoa. Wow, okay.
go. Let me just check that. Okay. 45 Newton meters. And then, just to show that we've been down here, I'm gonna go ahead and, go over it with another paint marker. With a nice little blue one here. And I'm gonna do the same thing for here. Okay. Cool. And then that's this part done. On to the rear diff. Alright, we will now be replacing the differential fluid. So around here, around the back, luckily there is a lot of room around the back here. So up here is the trunk of the car. But over here through this hole is going to be your fill bolt. And then underneath the differential, we will see here, we will seal the drain bolt right is the drain, not right below. I'm almost certain. Oh, it's right here. This is the drain bolt. So again, these are just 3/8, right? And this is contains an 18mm washer. So let me just make sure it's here. Obviously, I'm not going to use the extension here, but let me just double check that it's right here. Yep, it's right here. Yep, it's this one right here. But first things first, we are going to go ahead and remove the drain bolt. I think it's right here. So there is a little pass-through. I'm going to show you this, where I will be using an extension to reach it. So I'm going to enter through here with my extension, because unless you have like a low profile thing, you can't really fit it through here. So let's go ahead and grab this and then set it to remove. Okay. Alright, put that in. There we go. That's in here. Let me see if I can't get a better view here. Can we do this? Yep. Okay, that way. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and try and remove the drain bolt. So drain bolt is right here. Again, it's just a 3/8. 3/8 female. Right, so it just takes in the 3/8 part here. Don't need anything. Like I mentioned before, I do have the little extension here. That's a square 3/8. It fits a little bit better. So you can go ahead and try that. But let's go ahead and remove this. I do have the bucket right below to catch. And this feels like it's gonna be another one more fighting. Wow, torque specs on this thing gotta be crazy. Whew. Okay, that took a ton of convincing, but finally I'm able to remove this bolt. I don't know, this thing was absolutely stuck in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this with my hand here. Man, that's crazy. So it's gonna be right here. I'm just putting this first, tell me what's on the leverage. And again, as I stated before, I'm putting back pressure, so I'm pressing in while I unthread, and then I'm gonna have here the thing ready. So it does look like it's gonna kind of spill forward as opposed to straight down. So I want to be prepared. What am I gonna drip here? I want to make sure I get the color. 3, 2, 1, boom. And differential oil looks also pretty clear. Looks like colored glass. The magnet also doesn't seem like it picked up too much, but I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it off, and then we're gonna get a really good look at what is exactly on here. Oh, actually, okay, I won't lie to you guys. This is the first time I'm doing it at 30,000 miles. This does not really look too good. I probably should have done it earlier. I know there was you're supposed to do it at 15, but I am the second owner. The first owner was a family member of mine, and I got it by the time I was at about 16 or 18,000 miles. So I'm assuming the dealership probably didn't recommend it to them. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Doesn't look that crazy, but from here on out, I'll probably just be doing this every 15. Yeah. Okay, so removing this bolt was hard to control, but you know, we're gonna go ahead and fill this guy back up. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this a little closer, and then move the light right over here. Just make sure they're still very good at visibility. Oops, so like this, but yeah. Think about here, so we're gonna be reinserting. So this guy takes an 18mm crush washer, and the fill bolt takes a 20mm. So this one takes a 20, so this one goes back up into here, and this one that goes back here takes an 18. So let's go ahead and put this guy back. And the dripping all the other stuff. Let's see the overnight maybe, but there's always glue there. Alright, so let's see, make sure we clean as we can. And then you start by throwing this thing down here. You know. I'm gonna wipe this down. I'm done. I'm gonna move this back up. So put another dimension. Okay. We'll be torquing down to 47.5 foot-pounds, which is about 35 foot-pounds. So is there enough room here? We're going to make some tools like I can do a little extension. So you can grab the small one. Get my little here. And put this in. Okay. I feel the pressure cushioning. And I think it should be there we go. And then now to onto the draining. Okay, and to drain we'll be using another pump. I do have separate pumps here, and the fluid is going to be dual pump fluid too. So again, through this thing in the subframe, we're going to go ahead and plug this in to the fill. Once I fill that in, oops, I think that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and make room. So it's gonna be the same process as before, where we wait for it to spill out a bit. This one we'll know it's full. So I'm gonna go ahead with my light. Sorry, the light's going all over the place. Actually, I need to actually see the work area here. Wow, bunch of tools everywhere. Okay, let's get you right below. Let's change the camera angle. Let's get some light. That's about good. Now the tube is plugged in here.
Alright, so the last thing we have on the agenda is an evaporating cleaning. So this is obviously going to be very optional for you, but I did pick up this evaporator cleaning and refresher set from the local Subaru dealership. Unfortunately, you can't get this stuff shipped, or at least you can't get it shipped to California. I did find a dealership in Florida that sold this set for $15. And I tried to get that one, but I couldn't. The local Subaru had this one for $18, so it comes with both, and this little nozzle that I'm gonna plug up into the evaporator. Recently, like, I've been using my AC without the auto mode, and the evaporator has just been, I think that's what the culprit is, but the AC has just been really stinky. I think some of the sitting water has formed something in there, maybe mold, maybe not. I'm not entirely sure, but this is what I'm gonna go ahead and buy. There's a product that they sell at AutoZone. I think it's very similar. It's very similar just to this, right? This is just like you could use like a regular can of Lysol air purifying spray. I'll put a picture up on the screen here. But the kit from AutoZone I think is $12, the cheapest that you can buy it at. But it's $12 and all you get are 16 ounces, right? So you get the $18 kit here from Subaru. I'll put the part number up later, right? But you get 18 ounces. You get 18 ounces plus the little sprayer. But it's 18 ounces, right? So the one that's from AutoZone is 6 ounces and it's $12. So you're talking about paying almost, if you were to get the same amount in just the foam spray cleaning, you're looking at spending anywhere like about $36 for 18 ounces. But here, you get both of these for $20. I think Toyota sells a set. I think they have one version of it too. I think Kia sells a version of it, maybe if you have a Kia dealership near you. But unfortunately, Toyota dealership is going to sell this, I think, at around $40. Kia sells it at $50. Subaru, if you just buy it online, I think it's about $18. I don't know how much they charge if you go in store. And just to let you guys know, a lot of dealerships do let you buy the parts online and pick up in store. So I would recommend going that route and picking one of these up. If you're in the case that your AC also stinks a bit, this could help. But yeah, let's go ahead and put this on the cart and then get out of the car and I'll show you where to put this. But essentially this is going to go into the evaporator drain tube. And then we're going to spray this in and let it set for I think 15 minutes. And then this is supposed to plug up the hole while all this stuff is just in there. And then after 15 minutes you let it drain. And yeah, so let's get underneath the car and get this last thing going. I think after this is going to be a tire rotation. Right now I do not have a jack that can lift up the car high enough, so I will just be putting a picture on screen after we finish this up on the way to rotate the tires.
Alright guys, so basically two things I wanted to show you. Okay, can we see here? So right here, let me see if I can move the camera down a little bit more. So right here is actually this is the front of the rear. This is the rear evaporator draining, the rear evaporator drain. And so what we want to do is we want to find the first one, which is actually right over here. I'll move the camera in a second. You can tell because this is the one that's nearest to the firewall here. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over so we can go ahead and see it. But it's this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and take the camera a little bit more down so you guys can kind of get a view of where it is. It's going to be right next to this lower control arm mounting point over here. So it's right over here. You can see up here is where it connects to the firewall. And right here is where we're going to plug in. So let me go ahead and get a better view. Right here. So here is the bottle. Wait. Get that plugged in. No. Go ahead and put my flashlight down over here. And place the mount. Sticks right there. Okay. Apologies, I did not mean to do that. Not working with too much room down here without a lift. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and plug this guy straight in. So you wanna make sure it's stuck in there, because the whole point of this is to keep the foam and other stuff before sliding out prematurely. Just make sure. Okay, so as I was pushing the stopper in, I was also pushing the hose down. And that kind of got it to get stuck there, so I'm going to do it one more time just for safety's sake. I will also get my drain bucket here, pull it in closer.
Basically at this point I'm just going to be spraying in the product into the evaporator, and just want to let you guys know, if anybody watching this video is located in Southern California, in the Antelope Valley, Palmdale, Lancaster, maybe even Santa Clarita, if you need help with the service, or would you like for me to perform any of the services I did here in the video, please just shoot me an email. If you wanna, I can leave a list of all the fluid, all the torque specs, all the size of the washers in the description. But yeah, if you need help with this, let me know. I can go ahead go ahead and set up a time, and I could definitely do this for you if you'd like. I could definitely offer a price a little bit more competitive than the dealership. But yeah, just if you have any questions, please just shoot me an email. Hopefully I could respond within a good amount of time. It is a secondary inbox just because I don't want to prevent the primary one that I use. But yeah, if you're located near Palmdale, Lancaster, Santa Clarita, maybe Victorville, you need help with one of these things, I want to take it to the dealership, but you want somebody who uses good parts, has a good work ethic, listens to the manuals, pretty knowledgeable with Ridgelines and any other Honda vehicles with ZF9 transmissions, let me know. The only thing I don't do is diagnostics, but I can do pretty much 75% of the work for these vehicles. So yeah, definitely let me know and shoot me an email. Thank you for watching. But that pretty much concludes the 30,000 mile service.